There is a lot of worry in the college football world that one day the Big Ten and the SEC are going to break away and form their own conference. Well, after seeing the preseason poll and the AP preseason rankings, we might already be there. The Big Ten and the SEC are dominating everything from a talent standpoint, a coaching standpoint, an NIL standpoint, and a ranking standpoint as we head to 2026. Is this a good thing for college football? We'll get into it. Big show on a Wednesday. Welcome to Pushing the Odds.
It's time! And now, introducing your host, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Boston, Massachusetts. Presenting live from the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. It's Pushing the Odds.
For guys like me, Las Vegas washes away your sins. It's like a morality car wash. Back home, they would have put me in jail for what I'm doing. But out here, they're giving me awards.
Here he is, Matt Perrault.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to a Wednesday's episode of Pushing the Odds with me, Matt Perrault. We are brought to you by our friends at Beckrith, Arizona, and we have a lot of college football to get to. Look, I am somebody who is angry at the current state of college football. I'm angry at the consolidation of power as well. When you look at the preseason rankings that came out this week, when you look at the preseason All-America teams that were released this morning, the fact that we are talking about a lion's share, 80% basically, of all the talent, of all the top coaches, and of all the teams being grouped in two conferences that both have spoken openly about the potential for them to leave college sports and form their own mega conference. That they are now doing it, whether they're going to break away or not from the NCAA. The numbers are absolutely staggering as to what is going on right now in college football heading into the year. We have two conferences, and that's about it. If you want to know who wins the national championship, it's from two conferences, and that's it. The talent pool, the NIL money, it is all being completely dominated by just two conferences, and I don't think anybody in the Big 12 or the ACC can do anything about it because it sure feels like those two conferences are just throwing up their hands. And goodness, if you're the new Pac-12 or the Mountain West Conference or the American, I'm not sure what the purpose of you playing sports really is anymore. The idea of a collegiate athletic league is gone. This is about professional sports with two conferences being willing to partake in that activity of paying their players, paying their coaches, and dominating, absolutely dominating the landscape. We'll get to that during the opening line coming up here today. We will jump down the rabbit hole and we'll talk about a bunch of different things. Look, baseball is still very much hot in front and center, but what the Nationals are doing is kind of crazy. The Nationals could be in the same category at the end of this year as the 27 Yankees. I'm serious. We'll get to that today. We've got Paul Skeens for our bounce back of the day, brought to you by Regen. We'll try to figure out whether Paul Skeens and the Pirates can win a start. The team is just a dumpster fire when he has pitched this year. They're 3-13 straight up in games started by Paul Skeens. That's unbelievable for the Cy Young Award winner last year and how good he was with a sub-2 ERA, and now his ERA hovering around 4 this year. Everyone's blaming Livy Dunn. I'm not sure that's fair to blame his girlfriend for why he's having a tough time of it. We'll get to that today. We will make picks and plays. we kind of hit our prop bet of the day yesterday, sort of. I gave you two, one hit, one missed, but we'll give you some other ones coming up here for today on the program. We got a lot to get to. We're loaded on a Wednesday. Let's get it rolling with the opening line. Two power conferences, Big Ten, SEC. Have they already broken away without actually doing so? The opening line is being brought to you by Huel. That QR code takes you right to Huel.com/PTO. It'll save you 15% for new customers, and there are so many cool new things. This was my breakfast this morning. I had a vanilla meal breakfast, a ready-to-drink, grab-and-go, 35 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber, vegan, gluten-free, 27 essential vitamins and minerals. If you want to make a shake, you want to make a meal, this is 40 grams of protein, up to 11 grams of fiber with the powder that you can make in a shaker or in a blender. Huel.com, Huel, human fuel. Check it out, Huel.com/PTO to save 15% off. I am somebody who worked in both the Big Ten and the SEC country, okay? I worked for 1 year in the ACC. I worked at Virginia, went to Alabama, worked for 5 years in the SEC, then went to Nebraska, where I worked in the Big 12, covering Husker football for 5 years, now Big Ten football, and then went to Iowa and covered the University of Iowa for 2 years. I love college football. I love the fact that this sport has been, for states and regions that do not have professional football, NFL football, this has been their professional team. When you talk to people in Iowa, they're Hawkeyes and Cyclones. When you talk to people in Alabama, they are Crimson Tide, they are Roll Tide, or they are War Eagle. They're Alabama Auburn. If you look at different states around the country that do not have NFL football in their states, but they love football, the college player is their superstar. It's their celebrity. It's the person the kids look up to when the kids are playing backyard football. It's who they're emulating. It's who they're talking about. It's who they're arguing at the barbershop, at the bars, right? It's a community thing, and it's hard to explain to somebody. And if you had told me in college that I would understand this, I would say you're crazy, because I never watched college football growing up. I watched Boston College football for like a millisecond because of Doug Flutie, and my dad went to BC Law. So like I had a little bit of a taste of BC football, but BC football, I mean, come on, like Bill O'Brien's having a hell of a time right now. They worst record in school history last year. Like, no, I mean, it's when you grow up in this part of the country in New England, you know, college sports, it's Saturday is something you do to get to Sunday to watch the Patriots. So I go to Virginia and I get a crash course in Saturday football and what happened with Tiki Barber and what happened with just the whole Virginia football program. That was when, you know, Michael Vick was at Va-Tech. So across the state, you had a historic, unbelievable football player in Michael Vick playing for the Hokies. And I was blown away by watching a Saturday. I will never forget walking into that football stadium on a Saturday after doing my first pregame show. And I walked in and I went, wow, this feels different. This feels unique. And I loved it. And then I got a chance to go to Alabama and walking into, you know, Bryant Stadium or walking into Jordan-Hare or any of the other SEC stadiums that I've been to. And then look, Nebraska and Iowa, Memorial Stadium in Jack Trice at Iowa State and Kinnick for Iowa. These are all really cool stadiums. Okay. They're not on the level like Kinnick Stadium. And I forget what the stadium in Charlottesville is called. I forget the name of the stadium for the Wahoos, but Virginia Stadium, very similar size, similar energy, really fun. Just an awesome place to be on a Saturday in the fall, right? The sport that I fell in love with 20 some odd years ago is not the same anymore. And we all have to come to the grips to the reality that we talked about
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS, but then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
What Michigan has to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Now the college athlete's getting paid. And the cat is out of the bag, and I'm not so sure we can ever put it back in. Because what we now are seeing is an absolute power grab for two conferences. Two. We're watching the Big Ten and the SEC completely and totally dominate. And I wish there was something we could do to level the playing field. I wish there was something we could come up with and be like, okay, I don't think this is going to work. Because right now, it's really wild to watch and how this is all played out. It is really all about the Big Ten. And really is all about what's happening here for two conferences that have a ton of money, that are willing to spend at every turn, that are willing to be, you know, a professional league. I mean, look at this, okay? This is the AP preseason top 25 poll, okay? There are 9 SEC teams in the top 25. There are 8 Big Ten teams. 17 of the 25 teams in the AP preseason top 25 are from 2 conferences. The remaining 7, okay, are coming from the Big 12 and the ACC. There was always a year or two where we had a couple of the, you know, the Mountain West conferences or the Pac-12 or we just had other conferences represented. We just don't have that anymore. It is 4 conferences, and really all of the power is with 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. If you go to today, when the preseason All-America team was released, you see it even more. We're even further down here when it comes to the concentration of power. 22 of the 27 players on the first team AP All-America team come from the SEC or the Big Ten. 14 of 27 come from the SEC alone. Texas has 4 of them. 4 first-team All-American players preseason are on the roster for Texas. The Big Ten has 8. Oregon's got 3. Indiana, Georgia, Oklahoma have 2 each. And this is about NIL, okay? If you want to know who had the biggest NIL budgets, just look, okay? It's Texas, it's Oregon, Oklahoma, Georgia, Indiana. These are the schools that have the most amount of money to throw around to go and get power. to go and get players. They're simply just buying players. Okay? They're buying players. I don't think, even when we argued this, and I worked in Alabama from 2001 to 2005, and we were talking about paying players, and I was adamant about compensation to players for being involved in a football program like Alabama that was making millions and millions and coaches making millions and millions. I don't think any of us thought we would get to this point where players were getting paid $7, $8, $9, $10 million for 1 year. Like, I don't think any of us thought we would get to this point this quickly, because the guardrails are totally off. And the Big Ten and the SEC keep on saber rattling about leaving. Well, I think they already left. I think they've already departed. They've already separated themselves, that they don't actually have to do it. Who wins the national championship this year? Can anybody, if I take Notre Dame and I remove Notre Dame and say, okay, you can't pick Notre Dame, but you can pick anybody else, are you picking any team outside of the Big Ten or the SEC? Like, seriously, tell me what team you're picking to win the national championship, not make the playoffs, to win it all, that's not from the Big Ten or the SEC if I eliminate Notre Dame. And Notre Dame should be a Big Ten school, like we all know, right? I mean, they should be in the Big Ten. They're not, but they should be in the Big Ten. It's a frustration I have going into this football season. And you guys yesterday were talking about it in the chat, and the brigade was like, let's talk college football. And the reason why I've been hesitant to talk college football is the stats that I'm putting up, because this makes me mad, okay? This makes me angry that 17 teams come from 2 conferences in the preseason top 25, and 22 of the 27 first-team All-American players come from 2 conferences, come from the SEC and the Big Ten. Like, that is a frustration for me. That's an anger for me. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good. I don't think that that's appropriate. And if you're in the SEC, I know what the thought process is. It just means more. And you guys love that logo and that slogan. And I think it does just mean more, because from an SEC standpoint, it is by any means necessary. You want to win by any means necessary. It doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter if you step over your grandmother to get there. It doesn't matter if you push your aunt off a cliff. It doesn't matter. You want to win, and that's it. And this year for the SEC, it's really bad because they haven't won a championship in 3 years, and it's been Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten. So if the SEC doesn't win it this year, Georgia comes in number 3 on the AP poll. Texas, obviously, number 1. You've got all these different schools coming in. Everyone thinks that it's Texas's time. I don't. But somebody else, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, like, run the list down of SEC schools. If they don't win the national championship this year, there's going to be hell to pay, because there's a lot of money being spent to make sure that that drought ends this year in the SEC. Heck, Lane Kiffin at LSU. So as we look at this coming season and we get into it, am I going to bet this year? Of course. Am I going to watch it? Yes. Am I going to be involved in a picks contest with the Westgate? Of course. I am going to be in with college football, but I do it with an anger, and I do it with a frustration, because there's nobody at the wheel driving the sport. It is it's a cart going downhill with nobody controlling it, and it's out of control. And we all know that it's out of control, but nobody wants to do anything to stop it. The lawyers don't, the politicians don't, the athletic directors don't, the school presidents don't, and the head coaches don't, because for the most part, they're all lining their own pockets and they're making a ton of money. So why would they ever do it? Why would they ever stop? So that's my frustration, that money is poisoning the sport. Let's talk about what happened last night. How about a 22-0 game? All right, 22-0 is 22-0. What the heck was this? The Brewers last night at home against the Mariners go ahead and put up 22 runs. It's the largest home shutout margin of victory since 1888. 1888. The larger shutout was the Philadelphia Quakers, whoever the hell they are, and the Indianapolis Hoosiers. Really? June 28th, 1887, when it was 24-0. In the modern day, the Pirates won in Chicago 22-0. The Indians, then now the Guardians, against the Yankees won 22-0. And now the Brewers against the Mariners 22-0. The final score tied the largest shutout win since the start of the 1888 season. Again, these are the types of moments for me as somebody who is looking at the Brewers. I applaud these things. I want to see nights like this where just freaky things are happening. Just ridiculous numbers, right? And whether it be, as Blind Boy Johnny is pointing out, how about throwing the ball into the stands with only 2 outs? Yep, that happened. That's how they scored the 20th and 21st run were scored because the ball got tossed they caught the ball in center field, and the Mariners center fielder forgot how many outs, or didn't know how many outs there were, because it was 19-0. It's 19-0. They had I think it was a shortstop who was pitching. I'm not sure who was pitching for the Mariners, but it was not a pitcher who was pitching for the Mariners. And it was just an absolute shellacking. 22-0 last night for the Milwaukee Brewers. But again, I love these types of moments, because as we look back on the year and it's like, okay, Mizorowski's throwing the fastest pitch ever recorded and the team is putting up huge numbers and now we're winning games 22-0. Like, these are the types of historical events that I like to see from baseball teams that I am backing, because it shows that on any given night they can do something remarkable and something special. So they take on the Mariners. They blow their doors off 22-0. Hell of a performance last night by the Milwaukee Brewers. And we'll see where we go from there, because I think there's a lot of interesting things coming down the pike for all of this for the Brewers. And look, the Dodgers still don't look all that. Yes, they've won a couple of games in a row, but like, I don't know. I'm still not jumping up and down about the Dodgers. The Brewers, not a team of destiny, but the Brewers are a team I'm really happy that I'm backing, and let's see what they do over the next couple of weeks here. Let's jump down the rabbit hole. Let's stay in baseball. As I told you over the weekend, I had the perfect opportunity to use Rabbit, and I didn't use it, and I should have, because I just alcohol and arguing with people from Green Bay. But the guy who said, Matt from Green Bay, who told me the Packers are going farther than the Patriots, and he said, whatever you want to bet, we can bet. And I was in front of Amanda's family, so I didn't want to be a jerk, but like, that's the perfect opportunity to go, okay, fine. Let's put $100 down. Let's go to Rabbit. We'll put it on Rabbit. We'll set the odds as even money. Your 100, my 100. We put it up and we'll see who takes it at the end of the year. That's the best way to use Rabbit. Take the argument, the social media fight, the fighting at the bar, and take it right to Rabbit. You can use the code PTO5 to get 5 free Rabbit Cash when you sign up. Custom sports picks. You set the terms. You set the limits. You call the shots. It is free to download, Google Play and the Apple Store. The Washington Nationals are having a bad baseball year. However, the Washington Nationals have a chance to do something pretty hysterical. They may have a chance to join the 1931 Yankees. Okay, the 1931 Yankees had an unbelievable roster. Now, I think I said the 27 Yankees in the beginning, so I apologize. Not the 27 Yankees, but the 31 Yankees. The 31 Yankees, that was Babe Ruth. That was Lou Gehrig. They went 94-59. They had an AL record 1,067 runs scored and a plus 307 run differential. That's the seventh best since 1920. When you're watching baseball, do you put the Washington Nationals in the same category as the 1931 New York Yankees? Because I don't. However, that's exactly where the Nats could be. The 52, 53, and 55 Dodgers also did this, where they led Major League Baseball in runs, home runs, and steals in the same season. They currently lead Major League Baseball with 670 runs. They have 180 home runs and 135 stolen bases. They could be the fifth team in the history of Major League Baseball to accomplish this feat if they keep it going with 6 weeks left. Regen bounce back of the day. All right, our friends at Regen wanted to tell you guys that they have offered PTO listeners and viewers their largest bonus ever. They got a $30 bonus for signing up and making your first deposit with Regen. There is a QR code on your screen that will take you directly to the App Store to go ahead and download the app. What is Regen? You guys are going to bet as usual, right? Nothing's changing, but you're going to save a percentage that you set of every bet when you make that play. It links to your sports book. It helps you save cash when you bet. It helps you save cash when you win. There's never anything between you and your money. This is not Regen's not getting in the way of you. If you want your money, you can go get it. You can pull it out whenever you want. This has been invested in companies like Underdog, which is an operator to help you save while you're gambling. This is not an anti-book application. This is to give you something at the end of the day once you're done gambling for a season or for a month or whatever it might be. And you can get $30 when you guys use that QR code. Download it for free with Regen right now for the Regen bounce back of the day. Paul Skeens. Can we all pour one out for Paul Skeens? This poor dude. Okay, look. I know he is dating a very attractive former gymnast. I know there are some people who don't understand why rich athletes get to date attractive women. The jealousy level is hysterically funny to me, but there are people who take pictures of Paul Skeens and they run with it. Because they think he's either A, overweight, B, doesn't take his craft seriously, or is mentally checked out from the Pirates. And maybe he is. But he has a chance to start today against the Tigers to get things back on track. The bounce back of the day is Paul Skeens. The Pirates are 3-13 in the last 16 games started by Paul Skeens. They are 3-13. You cannot lose 13 games out of 16 when you have your best pitcher on the mound. I don't care if it's his fault or not his fault. You cannot. That is malpractice for this. His ERA last year was 1.97. His ERA this year is 3.88. He did pitch well last time out against the Marlins, where he lost the game 2-0. So that really is not Paul Skeens' fault. But tonight he's got the Tigers. He's going up against a rookie who's pitched 2 times for the Tigers. That he should have the pitching matchup. They should have the ability to win this game. The Pirates should win this game, and Paul Skeens should be good coming up here for tonight. I would be stunned if they lose tonight, if this continues, because the amount of heat and the amount of negativity around Paul Skeens right now, I mean, this guy is still a really good pitcher. The velocity is down. We've talked about that already on this show about what is wrong with Paul Skeens. What's wrong with him? The velocity is down. Clearly, he's not throwing 100 consistently anymore. Is that a shoulder injury? Is he tired? Is he not in shape? Whatever reason you want to come up with, he has not been as dominant of a pitcher power-wise as he was the first 2 years in Major League Baseball with the Pirates. So maybe he has to become a smarter pitcher. He's still throwing 95, 97 miles per hour. He's just not going 100, 101 consistently like he was during the first 2 years. There was always that conversation about what exactly things are going and what exactly is happening around Paul Skeens and what's happening with just his arm, saying most power pitchers end up having Tommy John because they throw so much in college. He was used a ton by LSU, and then he goes and becomes the number 1 pick overall. He rockets through the minor leagues, gets up with the Pirates, and he is right away pitching. He might be hurt. It's possible, but he's battling through it and not talking about it. And it's just he's one of these athletes that people built up and they were all about him and they loved him. And then the Livy Dunn stuff really started to come around. And now it's Livy Dunn. He's a fat slob and he's out of shape and she's to blame. And he doesn't care because he's getting paid and they're making all this money in social media and she's the highest paid influencer in the world and blah, 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 right? Just a bunch of nasty, negative crap around Paul Skeens. When I was looking at the numbers today, I was like, it just feels like this is a Paul Skeens, give me the baseball and shut up type start. They skipped his last start. They pushed this back to get to this point. And I think for a guy who is really angry, who is really mad, okay, this is my prop bet of the day. Over 15.5 outs for Paul Skeens today. There's not a lot of breakdown to it. There's just a feeling that I have about him being pushed back, about all the negative crap, about all the Pittsburgh talk radio stuff, all the internet chatter, which he sees and his girlfriend sees. This feels like a guy who's going to go out on the mound against the Tigers and throw 8 innings, shutout ball, 8 Ks, just reminds everybody of hey, okay, I might not be having a great year, but I'm still that dude. And I'm still capable of going out there and performing like that when I need to go out and perform like that. So I am expecting a bounce back from Paul Skeens. I am expecting a dominant performance from Paul Skeens tonight against the Tigers. And frankly, he needs it. The Pirates don't really need it, but he needs it just to calm this crap all down, to shrink the negative Nancy's, to calm this nasty conversation about him, about he doesn't care, he's not focused, he's somewhere else mentally, he's just not focused as to where he should be. So I like Skeens tonight to have a bounce back against the Tigers. Let's see. All right, one more baseball conversation. There's a big edge, a signature edge from signatureodds.com for one game in Major League Baseball tonight. All right, our guys at Signature Edge. This is our betting, okay? This is different. I know we've talked about this a lot over the last couple of days because it's unique. $1 to join for the first month, and they're going to teach you how to become an arbitrage bettor. If you've ever thought about this, this really isn't gambling. This is math. I'm not good at math. These guys are. They can show you through education, videos, and literally handing you their platform and teaching you how to use it to give you the persistence and the precision that you need to learn how to become an arbitrage bettor. We put this up a lot. This is their platform as to what you're going to see. They tell you the game. They tell you the odds. They tell you the book. They tell you how much to bet and how much you're going to make. Not kidding. If you want to take advantage of this, you're going to go to signatureodds.com/pushingtheodds and fill out the form, and you will get the $1 offer for them to be able to have you for $1 for the first month here heading towards football season and really college basketball season. That's a huge market for them. They do really, really well in college basketball. So it's a great time to learn it, to figure out how it works so you can go and attack it and be ready to go once we get to college basketball and the NFL for that matter as well. Your signature edge of the day is the Astros over the Angels with a 63% win probability. That's a 3% over market consensus line. This Astros team against a dead Angels team is a pretty good look, a pretty good play. Astros should win that game. It's expensive, but the Astros should win that game just based on the math here today. Log on to signatureodds.com/pushingtheodds to get your first month for $1 for $1 at signatureodds.com. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do that. This weekend, I'm going to sign up myself, and then I'm going to go through the training process to have them teach me as well. I'm really excited to see what happens with basketball, because that's the real kicker is basketball. But the prediction market world gives you an opportunity in most states. Like I'm in New Hampshire, right? So I have one book. I only have one book I can use. It's a monopoly. So say you're in Florida, right? You only have one book you can use in Florida, same situation. But the prediction market world, until that gets shut off, that does give you an arb opportunity. That does open you up to a variety of different markets where there is arbitrage opportunities using the prediction markets as well as the sports books to play off of each other. If you happen to be in a state like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Michigan,
it's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
What Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there, but I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
So you got to be there to be able to take advantage of that, to see that. So yes, does working with signature odds require time? Yes. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, it's not. As you heard from Luca when he came on the show, it is basically a side hustle. It's something you can do on the side every couple of days when you have the time to dedicate to it, where you're going to make money. You're going to make money. Like that's just where it is. So you got to be careful. CG says, I find when you start doing ARB prop bets, that's when the books find out and give you the boot. CG, I'm going to say it again. You cannot ARB bet at the same book. There is no way for a book to know you are ARBing them unless you bet the same market, the same game, different sides. No book has any idea as to why you are placing a wager at the amount you are placing the wager unless you tell them that you're ARBing them. Now, you've heard Adam Bjorn of BetCris Arizona on this show ask his customers, are you using us to ARB off of X book? And when they say yes, he says, good. Okay, good. They don't shut them off. They don't cut them off. Why? Because Adam is an old school bookmaker, and Adam is using the information that is coming from the player to help shape the number and shape the line at his book. So he wants you to ARB at BetCris Arizona, at Prime Ohio, at Prime Kentucky, or Prime New Jersey, the 4 books that Adam operates in the 4 states that he operates out of. He wants you to ARB bet there with him. Now, you need another side, right? You can't just ARB at one book. But you should never be kicked out for ARBing unless you tell the book you're ARBing and the book wants to kick you out. If a rec book contacts you and says, are you arbitrage betting? And you say yes, that's on you. Don't tell them that. Just say, no, I like that side. That's the beauty of being a gambler. We don't have to play and we don't have to tell the books anything. Okay? Massachusetts just became the first state that if you ban a player from a book in Massachusetts, you have to give them a personalized email explaining why you are limiting them or banning them from your book, which gives you a chance to kick back and say, nope, I'm not ARBing, or I didn't ARB, or prove it, right? Prove that I'm doing this, because I don't think that I am. And you can go in front of the Mass Gaming Control Board and you can sit there and say, I need them to prove what's going on. They're telling me I'm ARB betting with them, or I am, I am betting into stale markets, post-marking these bets, all the things you're getting kicked out for, right? That you're told, hey, you're getting kicked out because you're doing things that aren't right, aren't appropriate. Okay, you got to prove it. So I find, when I talked to Luca and I talked to the guys from Signature Odds, there's a bunch of different companies out there doing this. Arbitrage betting is nothing new. It isn't at all. But what I loved about what Signature Odds was doing is the fact that they wanted to walk you guys through what they were doing. And so there was an education side of things, because it's complicated when you're handed a new platform and it's like, hey, subscribe, pay them for a subscription, and then go win money. And then you don't win money and you're like, screw this. This is stupid. I got sold a bill of goods that wasn't real. Versus, hey, come in for $1. Let us show you the platform. Let us show you what can happen. You can then experiment. You don't have to bet anything. You can just hypothetically bet. Like, that's what I would do if I was you guys with that $1 offer. I would go, I would take a mythical bankroll, and I would use the platform, not really, just mythically, okay? Set the numbers, go ahead and play, and pay attention and say at the end of the month, how much money would I have won? How much money would, if I had done this, if I had ARB betting with Signature Odds, if I had ARB bet with their platform after they showed me how to use it and they showed me what to do, after all said and done, what would I have won? And if you like that number, if that number speaks to you, then I think it's worth subscribing and going ahead and using them. If it's not, if you don't have the time or the energy or you're not interested in doing it, then don't. But it's $1, right? I mean, it's no risk to you. It's a $1 deal. If you don't want to do it, you cancel it and you move on. So you're not like you're signing a contract that locks you in. It's a $1 offer for the first month, and they're going to show you what to do. So you don't have to bet anything. Like, you don't have to bet a single dollar with them and with the books. Just do it for pretend and then keep track of it. So with that, Seminole's asking, Adam's company, not in Illinois, not in Indiana, not in Michigan, not in Pennsylvania. Correct. Not available. Arizona, Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey. Those are the 4 Planetech books. Prime Sports in Prime Sports in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, and BetCris Arizona are the 4 books that Adam operates at the moment. I say at the moment because there are some things coming down the pike that will be beneficial that I think people are going to like a lot for let's just say BetCris Planetech. Let's say Planetech. Let's call it Planetech. There could be some news coming down the pike as to what exactly the company new brand will be in the future, but we'll hold that off for another day. All right, time now for our Circa Sports team of the day. It is the Buffalo Bills. Man, is Buffalo taking a lot of heat. Buffalo is taking a lot of heat, man. The Bills are 10-1 to win the Super Bowl at Circa Sports. They are 10.5 from a win total perspective. New stadium, new uniforms, and a schedule that is not going to be easy out of the gate. I mean, their first 5 games, goodness gracious. I mean, this 10-1 number for the Bills to win the Super Bowl with a rookie head coach is something. I'm actually really surprised. I thought the Patriots would be favored to win the division based on the schedule that the Bills have. Sometimes I think people don't look at the schedule ahead of time to really understand what we're looking at here for Buffalo. And I know it's Josh Allen, okay? I understand it. New dad strength and everything else with Josh Allen. The Bills' schedule is ridiculous. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. And there is so much anger going on around the Bills at the moment. Look, I get that the stadium is built for Buffalo people. This is what I keep on being told by people, by online and X and whatnot, that Bills fans appreciate the new stadium, even with the obstructed views, even with the fact that there's not a ribbon board, there's nothing of excitement, there's no big screen. Like, it's built, for whatever reason, they built the stadium like they built it in 1999. I don't know why. I don't understand it. They had opportunities to build with big boards and cool things, and they didn't do any of that. Okay? The stadium is fine. I keep on hearing this. The stadium is fine. Doesn't that mean the stadium sucks? Like, I got questions for a first-year head coach, and blowing out Sean McDermott for a guy on his staff who has never been a head coach in the NFL before, and he's going to do what this year? It feels like it's Super Bowl or bust. They're 10-1. They're 10-1. They have the second shortest odds of anybody in the NFL at Circus Sports. Only the Rams tomorrow, our last team on our pro football teams of the day. We do college until we get to the shows on the 27th and 28th. But a lot of questions right now in Buffalo. No questions about the circa million contests that can't be answered by me or anybody else around here about this, because we got million in Survivor. Survivor is going to be 30 million potentially. 30 million might have an overlay. We may have an overlay. We have slowed down. We'll check in tomorrow or on Friday rather, with Tom from VegasFootballProxy.com to get an update on the numbers. But $1 million guaranteed first place prize. The $100,000 Grandissimo gives you a $4 million first place prize. You must be physically present in Nevada yourself to sign up. If you have a proxy, you're great. You don't have to be in Nevada. You can play from anywhere because the proxy would take care of all your picks all year long. No rake in any contest. Any money that goes over the guarantee goes right back into the prize pool. For more information, log on to circusports.com. All right, so tomorrow we go back to betting football, and we have preseason week 2 starting. One thing that happened in week 1, unders dominated, but also teams that got into fights, games all went under. I think there were 2 big brawls for the joint practices. Both those games went under last week. We had another one yesterday. Alvin Kamara avoided a major knee injury as the Cowboys and the Saints had a massive fight. He avoided major injury from a torn ligament standpoint, but he's still going to be out several weeks after the brawl, after the fight and the injury that he suffered. These 2 teams do not like each other, and these 2 teams are going to play each other coming up here in week 2 of the preseason. That game will take place on, let's see, that's going to be week 2. Where is that game? So that game's going to be, so just watch for this, okay? Watch for fights, watch for joint practice, watch when these teams brawl against each other, that they will wind up. So you have the Patriots and the Eagles starting joint practice here for today. So that could be interesting to watch. Patriots play on, I thought they played, there we go, on Saturday. Yeah. So Patriots play the Eagles on Saturday. So we'll watch and see how that plays out. Dallas plays Arizona. That's it. I thought Dallas played the Saints. The Saints play the Rams. So those joint practices, I guess it doesn't really matter for that one, but he did avoid major injury. But that is something to watch for when it comes to this Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If the teams had a joint practice before the game and they got into a fight, they play with some piss and vinegar against each other, and they actually go out and play some defense, and they want to hit each other and they want to get after it. So it actually works out to an underplay. Happened in week 1. I think it will happen happen again coming up on this. So we'll see how it all plays out. DJ Moore could have a big year, Blind Boy Johnny. That is true for the Bills, to go back to that conversation for a second. He could. Let's see it. Okay. Like everyone just assumes it's going to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's a maybe. Okay. It's a maybe to me that he might have a big year. He also might not have a big year. If you guys need a proxy, we got you covered for any of the contests in Las Vegas, the Westgate, a circuit contest. Tom and his great staff at VegasFootballProxy.com, the #1 proxy service in Las Vegas. He's got you covered, the official proxy service of Pushing the Odds. My proxy will be VegasFootballProxy.com for all the football contests. Million, Survivor, Grandissimo. There are 4 with the Westgate that he'll take care of you on all of it. Make your appointment before you get to Vegas with Tom, or send him an email and ask him any questions you may have. Tom joins us every Friday throughout the entire season, giving us updates on both the Survivor contest and the Million contest. I will be in both of them, so I will be closely interested hearing the answers to my own questions about the contests coming up for Survivor and for Millions. I'm just hoping to stay alive in Circa Survivor until October. Like, just just let me stay alive till October. Like if I go out in the first week or the first 2 weeks, I'm going to be so mad. Like I'm going to be so angry if that happens. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that we don't wind up getting beat like that. But you never know. I mean, this is the fun about these contests is just how incredibly volatile they are. They're up and down. We just don't know, what's going on. We just have this whole thing that at some point, look what happened 2 years ago with the Patriots and the Bengals. And like, you just group think. To avoid group think at all costs is my one recommendation. If you guys are watching live, don't move. We'll make some bets for tonight, including a prop bet of the day coming up in bonus time. If you guys are with us on the replay on SportsGrid, thank you for watching. We appreciate all you guys in the overnight replay brigade. You guys in the live brigade, stick around. Bonus time starts now.